That was a very, very long-winded rant.
What's going on, beautiful people? Soulfully Famous is in the kitchen, and 'tis the season. Spring is upon us, and it's back to starting these events. I really miss you all. I'm excited. I'm excited for spring and summer and fall because I'm ready to get back out there with my tent to serve y'all the goodness. So you want to come check us out. We're going to have all the goods, definitely some vegetarian options.
When we think of a business that is strengthened by people, when we think of a service that is 100% dedicated to the people, when we think of a goal of having an investment into the community of people through the business and the service that you provide, one of the names that should come to mind is Soulfully Famous. Chef Lory Thomas, who runs Soulfully Famous, is cooking up food for everybody. It sounds kind of cliche, but this food is made with love and hurt and pain and joy, all different types of emotion that we feel Chef Lory puts into her food. She does it with a passion. She wants to connect with people and help. Through the service of food for people, Chef Lory has found this goal. It's not easy, but nothing in life that's worth it is. And as busy as Chef Lory is, with everything that she has going on top of Soulfully Famous, she still wakes up every morning looking for ways to help the people in her community and in neighboring communities, all through the food that she makes and provides. So let's get to know Chef Lory Thomas. Let's get to know how Soulfully Famous came to be. And we can do that by tuning in right now and listening in. This is Chef Lory Thomas's journey. And these are
the Journeyman Chronicles.
Welcome back to another episode of the Journeyman Chronicles. You have entered episode 31's realm. We're about to hit you off in the 30s with a podcast focusing on people's journey. The journey of this podcast has been exciting. It's been remarkable. It's been frustrating. It's been delightful. It's been worth it. And I look forward to continuing providing more episodes for this podcast. So here's the proverbial toast for the next 30 episodes. We are entering episode 31. Like I said, I'm excited. I got to sit down and talk with Soulfully Famous's very own Chef Lory Thomas, who has energy for, let me tell you something, for somebody who doesn't get much sleep, and you're going to find out in this interview that this woman is busy, and she don't even sleep. She takes naps. I mean, with a home life dedicated to her children and this business that she's dedicated to, and who knows what else she's trying to fit in there as far as, a social life. Sometimes you got to go and have friends and have a good time. You got a love life, you got friendships, there's so much going on in this woman's life. So I got to sit down, I got to talk to her. I wanted to know about Soulfully Famous, and I got to learn so much more. I'm excited to share this interview with you. On top of Soulfully Famous, she's also doing a lot of shit for the community. I don't want to get too much into it right now because I'd rather just have it right here for you to listen to, and I got it for you. I hope you enjoy it. This is episode 31. We're talking to Chef Lory
so
Thomas.
Much so that you even felt the need to kind of let people know, like, hey,
Chill out.
Yeah, pump the brakes.
Calm
a little
down.
Bit. Yeah. Which I think is one could say these are good problems to have, but I'm sure it can be stressful.
It is, and it's crazy because you don't want to sound ungrateful, but sometimes too much business can be bad because then you'll lose your value. You don't want to start to, you know how small mom and pops, they get large corporation and then it's garbage. You know what I mean? So I want to stay true to, you know, the food that I put out. And if I keep trying to take everybody in, then I'm like, oh, whatever, just throw it in there. You know what I mean? Just trying to make the order. And that's not what I want to do. That's not what I want to do. So in order to keep it under control, I was like, just get in line. Just give me a minute, please.
The last thing you want to do is like make it about the number and not the person.
Absolutely. Everything that I do is personal. And that's why my food is good, because I'm giving people an aspect of myself. So like you said, like I just try to greet people, you know what I'm saying? How I want to be greeted. I've been in the industry for so long. So I know the do's and the don'ts and what I would have wished I had as a customer, or you know what I mean? Just being in the whole world of it all. So I try to do things how I think they should
also
be
a lot
done.
of people, but people do like to feel like they are your attention is on them. And so marketing the personality trait of your business is important to you. And no matter how successful, and of course we're wishing tons of success for Soulfully Famous, but no matter how successful you want to become, you don't want to lose that ability to know the individual and be patient with that person.
Absolutely. Like you said, like I try to treat every customer like they're my first and my last, because you know, ever since the pandemic, so many businesses opening, even in the like food truck industry, like it's so many. And out of all these people, y'all came to me. And it makes me feel very special.
Absolutely.
So I want to make sure that I make them feel special and then they come back.
How long has Soulfully Famous been active?
Not long at all. So every time when someone asks me about Soulfully Famous, I say, oh, well, Soulfully Famous is a year and a half young.
Okay.
Because we started in the midst of the pandemic, like a lot of businesses, you know what I mean? So let's see. I think I started in like 2020, maybe. No, I feel like 2019, but nah, it's got to be 2020 because my daughter was born in 2020, and that's when everything went to like, shit, you know?
Shit, absolutely.
So, 2020, and I was kind of just bored. I was going through a lot of like postpartum depression. I went through a breakup. It was a lot, the pandemic, you know what I mean? And it was just too much. You did an interview with Mama Leche. She was one of my coaches. I breastfed. So you got a great catalog, by the way. So shout out to you.
Thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing. I listen to a lot of your stuff on Anchor. So I'm just so grateful to be here.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad you're here.
I feel like a celebrity. So Mama Leche, she was helping me get through a lot of that stuff that I was going through when I had my baby. And I just felt like I needed something to take me out of this depression that I was in. So I started doing like tumbler cups with epoxy and resin and like glitter, and making t-shirts with my Cricut, and then I just started going back to cooking because I cooked a long time ago. I had like a little business or whatever. And I was doing platters, like everybody was doing platters in the pandemic. And it got to a point where I was like, look, everybody's doing platters. Like, it's crazy because I can't make any money because everybody's doing it. So I'm like, what can I do to make myself stand out? And I'm like, you know what? I gotta go legit. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, funny because when I started, I was like super intimidated. I was like meeting all these people and I'm like, oh God, little me selling like little dinners, you know? And I'm like, well, what do y'all do? What do y'all do? Like, tell me about your business. And little did I know, they was in the same boat I was in. They started off their business. They're new. They just found this kitchen too. They're struggling for money like myself. And I'm like, it was like a great relief on my shoulders because I always small mind myself. Like, oh, I put myself in a corner. And it's like, no, like you're in the same boat as them. Like you can go ahead and you're great. You're great. So, I met the husband of California Macarons. He's like, oh yeah, we do events. And I was like, events? He's like, yeah, you should do it. You should just go on Facebook and see what's in your local neighborhood. Because at that time I was still doing platters. And I was still doing platters. And
if they do that again, I want to.
Okay.
I don't want to let that keep interrupting us. Go ahead though.
So I was doing platters, and I realized that a lot of my time was being taken up cooking the meal, waiting for people to come pick their meal. Because when you cook in a commissary kitchen, you're paying hourly. You're paying hourly to be there, and that is a lot of food truck struggle. Is finding a kitchen and finding an affordable kitchen, because the money that you're cooking, the time that you're spending to cook, it's money. Like I spend maybe 5-7 hours. That's over like $200.
Wow.
$250, sometimes 300, depending on the kitchen, all for one day. I was having invoices like $1,000 invoices, and I was only making like $500 worth of money in platters. So I'm like, yeah, I can't do platters no more.
Yeah.
Screw this. It's over, because people were playing games and people didn't want to pay in advance, and then people would not show up for their food, and then I'll be waiting and it would get cold, and then I was doing delivery as well. Like I would drive all the way to Coatesville. I was driving to Philadelphia.
Wow.
I was driving to Reading. I was driving to Allentown for people to get their food, because people saw my posts on social media. So I had like little fleet. Like I sent my mom to Philly. I sent my boyfriend to Coatesville. Like I was doing local deliveries. We were just trying to get it. And I realized that at the end of paying everybody, I was left with smaller amount than what I was making when I was at home. And I pursued a criminal justice degree. I went back to school for criminal justice. Wow. I was going to be a PO, juvenile probation. And where'd
that come from? Where'd the whole criminal justice?
Well, see, I feel like I'm a humanitarian at heart, and whatever I do, I always want to make sure that I'm taking care of the people. And in the criminal justice system, we always worry about the offenders and never the victims. Sure. And I always want to be a part of the solution and never a problem. So I feel like, what can I do to still make a difference and still like be hands-on and not be cooking? Yeah. So I was like, fuck, criminal justice. There's plenty of jobs in that industry. I know for a fact that I would never not have to I would never not have a job in the criminal with a degree in criminal justice, because there's something they need. The need for it is there. So I was like, I'm gonna do that. So I got a bachelor's in that, and at that time I was working full time. I was working at the prison in Lebanon. I was working security at Securitas, and I was in school full time, single parenting my 2 kids. Wow. And it was a lot. I finished school. I was pregnant. I was about to go on my internship. Pandemic. So at that time, I quit security, quit the prison. I was just working at the parking authority. I worked my way up from the parking authority as well. I started at parking authority before, like when they were new, when the city stopped doing it, and then like the real parking authority, the ones that are out here now doing it. Yeah, I stepped in when they were fresh. Oh, okay. I was like one of the first members. And I was making like $12, and I just moved my way all the way up to supervisor. I was like making $21 an hour. Like it was great. I had my own vehicle, had my own phone. What y'all doing? You need to get back to work. I had my own little computer. I was doing good, but it was time for me to go because I wanted to reach higher heights. And so I was done school. I was pregnant. I needed to do an internship. I couldn't work full time, do an internship, and be pregnant. So I had to let one go. And at that time, my foot was already out the door. So I was like, all right, fuck this job. I quit. And pandemic happened. So that kind of was a sign from above. You know what I mean? Yeah. And for some reason, I got my ass back in the damn kitchen. Yeah, here I am.
Well, I mean, it was such a long detour that you took with the criminal justice, and then you have, you were going through so many different avenues of cooking, and then you have the finale exit out of Bonefish Grill. Which is totally understandable because sometimes everybody gets to their point where they know what the consequences are and it doesn't matter. Right. It's almost like you know what, I'm fine. Let me entertain that because I'm tired of it. And to finally hit that and find yourself, what would you say now? That pandemic was 2020. That was 2014. So this is like a 6-year journey of everything you just told me. Yeah. Pandemic starts. What was it about the food and cooking that brought you back?
It was a release because, during that time I was just going through so much, and I needed to get my mind off of things. I just wanted to feel better inside. So that's kind of what it was. And I first started selling off to family and friends, and it just expanded. It just happened. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I still do. I still exercise my criminal justice degree, if you will say. Sure. Because I'm a youth advocate. So Soulfully Famous currently has 3 jobs. She's running around like a crazy person right now. Look at you, yeah. She's running around like a crazy person right now. So I work overnight with juveniles. I'm a youth advocate at a placement center. And that's kind of when I work overnight, that's kind of when I do like all my computer stuff, like sending out invoices, responding back to customers and stuff like that. So I do that. And then sometimes, we're short of staff right now. We're still dealing with everything in the world where we're short of staff.
Yeah.
Prices are inflation is crazy right now.
Yeah,
it's crazy. So sometimes I work like 16-hour shifts on top of whatever else I'm doing. So I work that overnight, then I come home, get my kids ready for school, and then I'm at Crispus Attucks. I've been passed the baton to be the cook at Crispus Attucks. So I was explaining to you that I work for Cat because I'm there part-time Tuesday through Thursday, cooking meals for the community, doing stuff at the food bank, and then all while still taking care of Soulfully Famous stuff. Yeah. Trying to get cooking time in to cook for shit I got going on the weekend. You know what I mean? And it drives me nuts because I always think, how the fuck am I going to get that shit done?
Yeah. I'm thinking like, when do you sleep?
I take naps. As of today, I probably going on maybe like 3-4 hours. I got some good sleep today because see, the food bank was today, and it doesn't start till later. But my other job had a staff meeting, and my kids had early dismissal. I had to pick them up from school. I took them to the job. I'm like, look, I got my kids. Look.
Yeah, playing your pricing, and I think everybody that goes through entrepreneurial endeavors, business for themselves, where they have to value themselves in order for this to be worth it.
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody goes through that. Like this whole well, how much do I charge? What's reasonable?
Right.
I don't want to be robbing people, but I do need to get paid. And there's nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. One of the things that when I talk to people like yourself that are doing what they love doing and all the great things that come with that, but also the hardship, is that it's difficult to explain that to people who aren't in that mindset. Like you could be, you could probably help by serving people who are in a business of their own and they don't question your prices because they understand the logistics of it. They don't know what you do.
Yeah.
It's like that community of people that are like, nah, dig it. Don't worry about it. Like, I mean, I'm going to pay this because you did it, and I'm gonna represent you, and that whole. And then there's people that are just like you just said, why am I paying $200?
$150 for a salad?
Right.
I had to wash every lettuce leaf on this motherfucker.
But, it's kind of like it's how do I say this? Because I'm trying not to sound like an asshole, even though I don't really care what people think about me, but. It's almost like, do you grow up in a bubble for your entire life where never have you ever paid for something that was expensive,
right?
But to you, it was just there's people that pay thousands of dollars for a BMX helmet, let's just say, because they're into that shit.
Right.
And to me, I'm like, you paid $350 for a fucking helmet when you could go to Walmart. But that's my thinking. But I also understand. But I get that you're doing what you love doing, and that's the money that you're willing to pay. I'm sure if you had your own business doing that, you would be charging the same amount because you understand that business.
Right.
There's some people that just don't get that, and so I guess owning your own business and getting back to your point it's like this balance of like you just said. There's battles that I'll pick, and there's battles that I'll ignore because you're probably going to be you go through that. I'm sure. Almost every day. Is that fair?
Well, people are starting to get with the program now because at this point, and it's crazy because I'm very hands-on and intimate with my customers. So I reply to every email, every text, every DM, you know what I mean? And I always treat people with respect. But sometimes it gets to the point where it's like, okay, well, you're not even worth me responding because you're being a jackass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now I'll just get into a point where like if you're not comprehending it, then I'll just leave you to yourself to ponder that.
Yeah.
Because I don't have the time. I truly don't have the time to sit here and explain basic shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like you said, primarily my customer base has been, lately the businesses, the corporations, because they understand that they're paying for quality.
Sure.
And I'm okay with that because Soulfully Famous does it all. And at the same time, even though like I do want to be paid what I'm worth, I'm also a humble individual. I put in my time. Before I was working at Crispus Addicts, I was volunteering there every week. I was doing that shit for the free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I still sometimes cut people deals. Sometimes even when people message me and ask me for services, one of my questions is, what is your budget? So we can make a menu to accommodate you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I take that time, excuse me, I take that time out of my day to make sure you have an affordable menu, and then you decide to not even do the whole thing.
Yeah.
You just wasted my time. So now I should just charge you a damn consultation fee because you're wasting my time. I need to be paid for my services. This is ridiculous.